Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today I'm gonna show you how to get a brushed finish on your Amphibia. Since I already did the mod on this one, as you can see it has polished edges and a brushed top, this is gonna be a pretend video where I'm just gonna go through all the steps again. However, please note that this one is, like I said, already modded. I was just impatient when I got it and I did it without recording, which was a mistake for me. So to do this mod, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a blade to remove the bezel. You're going to need a masking tape to cover all the parts that you don't want to be affected by the brushing. You need a Scotch-Brite pad to do all the brushing, or if you're impatient like me, you can simply rip from the dishwashing a sponge. You rip the soft part and you're left with this one. And as an optional, you want a case back remover and a little toothpick to remove the crown, because it's going to make the job easier. However, you can do it without these two by just pulling out the crown, but it's going to be a bit more difficult. So let's move on. The first thing that you want to do is remove the bezel. Now, on all the YouTube videos of these amphibias, people have no trouble removing the bezel on their watches. However, mine is a bit different. I don't know if they increased the tolerances, I mean, if they became better at producing these, but I really had a lot of problems removing this bezel. So what you want to do is you want to use the masking tape to protect the case, and then use this knife to pry the bezel open. To pry the bezel off. So just a second. So with the case masked, you just want to stuck this here and just kind of pry it open. Now I'll try, and when it doesn't succeed the first time, I usually just move the bezel around until I get into the position where the wire of the bezel is not in the way of removing it. Now, like I said, mine is really difficult to remove compared to other people's bezels. And there we go. Finally, after really quite an effort, we managed to get the bezel off. So now let's remove the case away and this tool. Now, to do the bezel, what you want to do is place this on a hard surface. And then, because if you try to do it like this, you're going to get really inconsistent concentric grooves. To get consistency, you put this sponge like this on a hard surface, and then you press onto the bezel really hard and just do these small motions, rotational motions. Now you always want to press hard and you want to go in only one direction. Why? Because this way, because the sponge gets deformed, you're going to get a little groove in it, so the bezel is going to stay perfectly centered while you're doing this. And as you're doing it, you're putting in a concentric brushed finish. Now you want to do it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and then check the finish of the bezel. Since mine is stainless steel, apparently I really have no problem even if I overdo it. However, if yours is an older type where you have chrome-plated brass bezel, you don't want to overdo it to reveal the brass underneath. And you just keep repeating this until you get the desired effect, or the grooves that how hard you want them to be. So like I said, only press and just go in one direction. Don't be doing this because it's not going to look good. So do it like this. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the bezel. So pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Some people, me including, tried to do it like this. Started doing like this, but like this you're not going to get, like I said, really concentric grooves. You're going to get something like this, and then because you cannot do it properly. Despite you feeling like you're doing it properly, this is not going to be very consistent. So that this technique is better. Okay, with the bezel off, let's move on to the case. Now the first thing that you want to do is remove the crown to make it easier. So let's just open the case back and remove the crown. So to remove the crown, you want to press on this right here. However, here's a pro tip. Because of the unique way that the crown and stem are connected on the Amphibia, if you do it now and pull out the crown, it's going to be almost impossible to put it back in. So what you want to do, except unscrewing it, is put it to the furthest position, so to the second position where you're setting up the time. And then, once the crown is in this position, you want to press on this right here and pull the crown out all the way. Like so. Because it's going to be easier to return the crown back. Because the crown, these grooves have to catch on a little spring. And since the Amphibia crown works like this, as you can see, the crown can move on the stem in and out. If you don't do it in the furthest most position, when you screw it back in, it's not going to push it deep enough to catch onto the spring. So that's why you want to put the movement to the time setting position, because that way it's going to be easier to push it back in. So let's remove the crown. And now you want to close back the case back so you don't get any dirt or little things when you brush the case inside. So let's put this on and return the ring. You don't have to over tight it, just close it so that the dirt isn't getting in. And now you have to mask all the parts that you don't want to brush. Now, as you can see on my case, it's all the sides and fronts of the case, because I wanted some alternation, so I wanted to keep these polished. So now you have to do the masking, and the better you do the masking, the easier it is for you to later finish the job. So let's move on to the masking. Now, I won't be masking the whole case because mine is already finished, but you get the picture. You want to make this line as nice as possible, and you also want to mask the crystal. So once you've, because you don't want to scratch it accidentally. Once you've masked everything, and let me just cover the crystal real fast. So this is how you want the finished product to look, let's say. And now, since Amphibia has a very specific case, you can pretty much divide it into quarters, or in this case it's half, and here you're going to have little quarters up to the crown and beyond the crown. And now you simply apply the pressure like this and spin the case as evenly as possible, like so. Again, until you get the desired effect. Now with this, to get the most even effect on all sides of the case, and this is something that will require a bit of skill. To get the most even finish, you want to count how many times you did each corner and then repeat the process on each one of these corners to get, like I said, as similar finish as possible. Now the reason why I'm using this is because of this technique, where it's pretty much your feel and your range of motion. I don't want to use sandpaper, because sandpaper pretty much goes very deeply and it's very hard to repair any damage done by it. But this is very soft, so the grooves are also very shallow. So if you mess things up, if you see that you're going in the wrong direction, simply repeating it is gonna correct the issue without a lot of effort. So this is the reason why I like this one. So let's say you've done this side and now you move here. So you repeat the same. Now please note that since this is a ministry case, it has this little angle right here, so you're going to lose those surfaces. You're going to pretty much round everything up. Now I did it on mine because mine already, when it came from the factory, when it was fully polished, already these angles were pretty unnoticeable, and the case was already very rounded, so I really had no trouble doing it. Once you achieve your desired goal of finish, so you get it as satin and as brushed as you want, you simply remove the the masking tape to reveal this nice transition between the polished and the brushed, and you reassemble everything just the opposite way of what I just showed you. With the most problem probably going to be, in my case, the bezel again, because like I said, it's very, very tight on this watch. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll probably put a couple of pictures of before and after. Now, if you have a machine, a turntable, or something where you can fixate the watch and have it spinning, regularly and centered, that would be even better, because then all you would do is apply this pressure right here as the watch is spinning, and you would get a perfect finish. And if I had that, I would probably use sandpaper instead of this, because it would get a nicer brushing finish than this. But since I have to do it with my hands, I chose this in case I make a mistake. Like I said, it's very easy to fix. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe by pressing this button right here. And until the next video, bye.